doesn't matter how many seasons it happens or how many managers and teams it happens to, they're never happy with it because the fixture list is intense if you're involved in multiple competitions. And that's what we have to factor in when we look at the remaining fixtures for both Arsenal and Manchester City. They meet in the Carabao Cup final. They're both still involved in the Champions League. And look at this kind of run of fixtures that they have between now and the end of the season. So any team in red is currently in the top 6. As Billy Ocean told us, red light spells danger. Any team in yellow is up to the relegation places, and then the teams in green are the ones in the relegation places. So once Arsenal play Chelsea tomorrow, the only team they play left in the top 6 is Manchester City, at the time being, at least. Does that make a difference, do you think, in the run-in?
No, I sort of agree with Pep in what he said, one game at a time. And I know it's cliche, but because you just never know in these fixtures. You would look at them two fixtures, Forest, and no disrespect to West Ham. Man City should get over the line in them. But Chelsea, the way they're playing, they're not closing out games like they should be, but the very, very good team. Arsenal, I've said it from day one. This is the defining week, this here. And if you look at Arsenal's side as well, because they've not done it, and I've been there, getting to the Champions League, and you're always looking over your shoulder, can you do it? And if they don't do it this season, they might do it next season. But what Man City have in their favour is the experience. I said before that they're not scintillating, and they know that. They defended well today, and they got the goal. But there's something to say about the experience, especially when it becomes a psychological battle. So Man City today could go home.
That game on April the 18th, there's midweek Champions League fixtures.
Yes.
Just in the week before that.
Well, that could take a lot out of both teams as well. Man City obviously got Real Madrid, which is not going to be easy. But they both have got very good squads. Everyone talks about Arsenal squad, but Man City squad's really good as well. The players that are on the bench today. It's just fascinating. We've got a proper title race this year.
You didn't want to talk about the past, Pep Guardiola, but we're going to, because this is extraordinary. This is how Manchester City typically finish a Premier League season compared to how Arsenal normally do. Now, if this were the case here in 23-24, where they were 3 points better off than Arsenal, even City's worst finish compared to Arsenal's best would be enough for Manchester City to win the league title. However, he's also correct in that this doesn't mean anything this season, in a way. What do you think?
I think it means something because you've done it before. And that, again, I'm going back to the experience. But when we won the league, we had to beat Man United. Yeah. So Arsenal have to do it at some point. And that's why it's taking every game. Don't be looking at fixtures saying, we're going to get points here, we're going to get points there. Because goals or a sending off or whatever could change a game at the right or wrong moment for you. They've just got to focus on the task in hand. However, I just feel, and that's why I said, everyone was talking about Man City saying they're not quite there, but they might not have to be quite there. I don't think the league's been amazing this season. Liverpool have not been it. Chelsea have had a new manager. Spurs have. Arsenal started really well, went through a little bit of a blip, but then
Man City looked like they were going to challenge and
then fallen off a little bit. And Man City now, just doing their business quietly. Everyone's writing them off. But you can never write off Man City. Every time you try to write off Man City, they make you look stupid. So I think it's going to go all the way to the wire, but I think the pivotal game is obviously at the Etihad.
On April the 18th, between Arsenal and Manchester United, or between Manchester City and Arsenal, is what I should say. And it's not just about how strongly Manchester City finished the season. It's not just about the experience of the players. It's the fact that Pep Guardiola has this record of winning league titles in pretty much every season, certainly the vast majority of seasons that he manages club. 12 with 2 runners-up and 2 third places for him. I mean, that kind of experience, I was going to say can't be bought, but you can employ that kind of experience, but it's invaluable in the team.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, isn't it? I think he's never gone 2 consecutive seasons, is it, without winning a title. So I think the 2 third-place finishes we talked about off-air was his first season and last season. So he definitely knows what it takes to win the title. Of course he does. But I think Arsenal are better equipped this year, I'll be honest. I think listening
in terms of defensively, attacking.
Yeah, defensively, I think all over the pitch they're solid. Okay, they're maybe not playing free-flowing football that you maybe expect a title-winning side to do, but you don't have to.
Correct.
You just win the league by all means necessary. Do whatever you have to do to win the league, and I think they might just have enough. But yeah, listen, it's all setting up for a fantastic end of the season. But Pep knows what it takes to win a title.
Micah, you know what it takes to win a title as well, pre-Pep Guardiola. And you mentioned that title-winning season when you were chasing down Manchester United until it all came to a head in the game against them, the 1-0 win against them. Does this, it's not exactly the same, but does this feel similar to that season, or can you see similarities?
It does, because we went to Old Trafford and we won 6-1. We got a little bit ahead of ourselves, let's say. We thought we were the better team. We looked at our squad and thought, yeah, they've got some top players, they've got experience. However, what we've got on the pitch and our bench, we always thought maybe it's a little bit stronger. If we needed to make a tactical change, I think we had more for the bench than them. And then when Vincent Kompany scored that header, he just started to believe. But it was mad, because the game when we won the league, that QPR, and that's why we're talking about with the fixtures, expecting that game to just go swimmingly well, no problems at all. But the way it happened, Dzeko and then Aguero, last minute of the game was just incredible. And you go through, and people are talking about Arsenal, and they're talking about the very emotional. But so are we. You have to be emotional, because winning the Premier League, especially as a young boy who wants to play football, it's absolutely everything. I was content with the FA Cup the season before. You go and win the Premier League, it's dreamland. So when people say Arsenal are overreacting and are very emotional, at times if you look at Arteta on the sideline, maybe, but he knows how much it means. And as a player, you look at every single detail. I remember going before a game and just thinking, I don't know if I can do this. It's too much for me. And then, you know, you win your first challenge and then you grow into it. And that's what Arsenal have to do.
Yeah, that fear of success is a really
Correct.
strange phenomenon. But for Manchester City and for Arsenal, this is going to be a fantastic run-in. They're also going to play each other, Micah, in the Carabao Cup final a couple of weeks' time. I just wonder if whatever happens here has a bearing on what happens on April the 18th or whenever they play each other.
You wouldn't be human if it didn't. If Man City were to win that...
You know, generally teams don't win both, do they? If this kind of situation
but it's the
happens.
confidence that it gives you. If they go
Gives
with
you a
that,
psychological boost.
The psychological battle. But however, if Arsenal were to win that, it gives them the belief as well. That's why this season it's so entertaining.
And also it'll tell us about maybe their focus. So if one of them is like, the league is the one in our sights, sometimes the cup competition can kind of go by the wayside a bit. But we'll at least get a little taster before we get to the main course.
Yeah, listen, it's all setting up to be a fantastic end of the season. I think I'm with you guys. I think it's whoever wins that cup, it could give them a psychological big boost. It'll be interesting to see if City do get ahead of Arsenal, how Arsenal then react, and even how City react by being in front, because it's a totally different pressure. It's easy to chase. It's harder to stay there. So it'll be interesting if they do manage to get there, just to see what it's, you know, how they go about it.